Live now.
Yeah.
Hangout is now live. Hooray, got it working again, and Mike's not here because he ruined it last time. Technically, he ruined it last time.
Yeah. Well, we'll just see how far this goes in terms of quality-wise, if it sticks up.
Pretty much. Anyway, welcome back. This time actually is a live feed because we prefer doing it live. Now we can do the last questions and such. Excuse me. Anyway, Doctor Who Series 8, Episode 2, Into the Dalek. Well, technically a Dalek.
I think the other name you could give it, Journey to the Centre of the Dalek, although that would have been too obvious.
Not really. Journey to the Centre of Scarborough, but either way.
Yeah. Horrors of Scarborough. That's a good name for an episode.
Pretty good.
Yeah. We should get paid to make up Doctor Who names. We should really do. Only.
It's just the name alone you hear. Okay, the first one's called Deep Breath. That sounds interesting. Next one, Into the Dalek.
Yeah.
Calling it a Dalek because that's what it is. It's a single Dalek.
Yeah.
Into the Dalek. It's like, what do we expect from this?
Yeah. You're going in a Dalek, that's for certain.
It's sometimes half the actual titles are actually quite meaningful and have something to do with the story, but not exactly.
Well, they kind
of the name of the Doctor was more metaphorical than it is the actual name of the Doctor.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way they work is that they try and get a name that sounds interesting but doesn't reveal too much of the plot. I think that's the job they have now. Because otherwise, if you name it what it really is, it's going to ruin it.
Yeah, like Rise of the Starman. Oh, I wonder what's in it this week.
Age of Steel.
And there's the Doctor's wife. It wasn't really about the Doctor's wife.
No,
it was more like a symbolic. The wife was more symbolic than it's actually. Oh, let's get married to save the universe in time.
Yeah, unless you count the Doctor, unless you count the TARDIS is the Doctor's only true wife, which is kind of the whole thing in a nutshell.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, the start of the episode is basically wasn't really what I was expecting, but then again, a ship is right near a Dalek ship, and you were fucking asking for trouble then. I was thinking to myself, that is so fucking stupid. What the hell's wrong with you? You're near a Dalek ship. It's going to blow to smithereens. What it does, and the Doctor appears holding coffee.
Yeah. I rewatched this episode just the other day, and I actually picked up the fact, oh yeah, the coffee from, at the end of the episode, he was getting coffee with Clara, and there's a joke about, I want you to get coffee. That was 3 weeks ago.
So they get coffee 3 weeks ago. Where have you been? Got distracted.
I got distracted. Yeah.
Plus, I would say also introduces the character that was also revealed in the promotionals called something called Pink.
Yeah. What's his real name? His full name? It's something Pink.
I just know Pink. That's all I know.
I mean, it doesn't help the fact that his name's Pink. It's like, well, okay, what's his backstory? He was an army soldier, but with that name.
Yeah, well, in Modern Warfare, the character's called Soap. That's his first name.
His first name.
First name's called Soap. Last name's called McTrash. Even the writers, even one of the characters go, "What kind of name is Soap?"
Even in the universe, they know it's kind of silly.
I think the character Pink is a lot more influenced later on down the series.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
he seems to have a backstory. He seems to regret. I think we'll say something about the soldiers is kind of the theme nowadays.
It is, yeah. There's the whole thing of the Doctor says, I don't like soldiers, or I don't really care for them.
Very much like anyone holding guns. If you're a soldier, just don't want to go near.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, in general, what did you think of this episode? I mean, did you enjoy it for what it is, or?
I'll say it's actually it was like 2 episodes. It's actually 3 right now because it is the day after Robot Show. But
yeah.
Yeah, that's for next week.
Hmm.
And I would say so far, Into the Dalek is the darkest one so far.
Yeah, I mean, so far I would say this is, for me...
I would say, I'm also trying to, because of Robert Shaw is so fresh in my mind, and kind of leaned into that one a little bit. There's a lot more depth.
There's a lot
more depth in this series.
I think Into the Daleks got more to it, I think. For me, this is the first episode where Peter Capaldi really gets into being the Doctor, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot more... how to describe it? I would say he's a lot more John Pertwee.
Yeah, there is that element.
He does have a lot more emphasis on charm or Bond character. But still smart, still able to talk down on people.
There is a sense. Yeah, there is a sense of slight. I would say. I don't want to. What's the right word? Arrogance, cruel. I wouldn't say cruelty, but you can definitely see some of the coldness.
Arrogance is the right word.
Yeah, arrogance. But there is a kind of coldness as well because we have that soldier who, because we find Daleks have antibodies, which is basically just a floating eyeball. And the whole thing
is quite creative, actually.
Yeah, which again, I like that idea. I think that's good. I mean, any Dalek story,
he's always going to point out again, it's a giant floating eye, a sphere. Oh, wasn't a toclafane enough?
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah, they are a different thing. I will say the one key thing to make a good Dalek story is that you have to make sure that both the human side of it and what the Daleks are doing have got to be generally interesting, because if one side fails, you're just going to go, I'll just get on with it, get back to the Dalek bit, or get back to the human bit and something, because we kind of felt this with Asylum of the Daleks, because we felt, ideally, all the stuff to do with the Doctor, Amy and Rory, and even Clara, that was really, everybody was more interested in that as opposed to the Daleks, which were just, they have a planet to give all the...
we've got all the Daleks here, we've got all the Daleks here, you only see for about half a fucking second.
Yeah.
All that big hype saying, you'll just see the Prime Daleks, the Union Daleks, the Special Weapons Dalek, you'll see all the classic range. No, you fucking don't, because 99% of it is the fucking bronze Daleks.
Yeah, I'm going to go on to that a bit later, but yeah, I kind of felt like I had the feeling that really they were going to let that down a bit. But really, like I said, the Asylum of the Daleks, when you think about it back, it's really more about what the humans are doing rather than what the Daleks are doing. Whereas this one, it's
mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
It is mostly. Let's say this is the same level. So one's like more external and it's like internal in an ethical and metaphorical sense.
Yeah, definitely.
It's still essentially a Dalek story. It's just like this one, it's I would say it's a lot more better. It's better written. It feels a lot more darker, a lot more serious.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that
literally going into the mind of a Dalek to see what's wrong with it. Why it would say death to the Daleks.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, there's a few things about this. One is this is back to 45 minutes now, isn't it? We're back to that range again, are we? Or
I think it's at 45, 47.
All right. Checked. So we're back to that kind of quarter of an hour, hour and 45-minute, 45-minute range essentially. That's where we're back to now.
The first one was 75 minutes, but then again, you have an extra half an hour just to emphasize who the Doctor is.
Yeah. Which again, I think this is much better because again the pacing's back up, so that things feel much quicker, but also
it's all fast paced. But this time there's a lot of downtime in this episode as well.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think they finally, after 7 series, actually managed to balance it all out. Well, it's been 7 series since.
Well, it's nearly been.
Because that's how we had to kind of balance between action and drama and a silence.
Yeah.
Silence. And was in series 1, like the Empty Child and the Doctor Downstairs. Yeah, it was a 2-parter. We had to get like most of the story in one and the rest of the story in the other. Or like Dalek, which was again another obviously dark story. That still had a lot of action and a lot of downtime.
Yeah, that's when
Doctor. It was most.
Sorry. Sorry if I keep butting in. Sorry about that. Do you want to continue or?
No, you go.
Okay, I was going to say that again. This episode, people would say it's a lot like Dalek because it is. Most of the time, it's about one single Dalek, and it's about technically how this one has been. Whereas in Dalek, it was about a soldier lost through time. This one is supposedly is something's wrong with it, and apparently it just decides it needs to destroy all of its own race for some reason.
Hmm.
And again,
we missed a whole chunk at the beginning, how they get shrunk down to the size of smaller than a garden pea.
Yeah, exactly. You know, great for film. Bad idea of partition. You know, I think he does that joke about. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And all the soldiers and everything just being soldiers and like just want to smack them. It's like, shut up! I know you're military grade and everything, but you've got a Dalek on your ship. You're all good as dead, alright? So smile!
Well, you know. Actually, there's a few things I really want to point out in this episode, which I've been, funny enough, because that's this thing we've been leading up. I did kind of want to do this whole big sort of rant past my opinion on why do we keep using the bronze Daleks over and over again, but we might skip over that. It depends on what we do. But there's a couple of things about this episode I will say that a lot of the visuals, I rewatched it again, and I've noticed there are a few, this is from just the technical side, I noticed there's a few times where they've repeated shots or some things don't look as right. In fact, I was even watching it again, and I noticed that there's some shots I swear they've used miniature Daleks again. I mean, did you spot that at all, or was that just me?
No, I haven't noticed that.
Alright, it's basically...
You're more model animation, you like the visual effects and everything.
I know, I understand it more better, but there's a couple of shots. There's the one bit where they find the rebel ship, and there's a shot of them inside, like, inside their own ship, and there's a couple of them all together saying, "See, look at destroy," and then there's the bit where they blow up the door and they all come through. I think those are miniatures, although, to be honest, I think, when I watched that, I did think to myself, hang on, that's the toy Daleks you get in the shops and stuff, because I swear to God, they look like miniatures. And considering the fact I met with Mike Tucker, who did the, again, he did miniature effects for Doctor Who. He did the Day of the Doctor and Time of the Doctor, which, they at least, again, he actually purposely said we went out and got the toy Daleks, and then we took them apart, re-sprayed them and stuff. So I'm not sure whether he had anything to do with this one, but I'm pretty sure they used miniatures in this one. But part of me just like...
I've got a comment saying the actual character is called Danny Pink.
Yeah.
So, thanks.
Yeah.
Completely right. But yeah, miniatures.
Yeah. It's okay if you didn't notice it. Only I would notice this because
I didn't notice. I was more focused on the situation and the story because that's what really gripped me about this episode.
No, that's a good thing because
it was like the Doctor inside a Dalek, he can't physically do anything about it. And again, it's up to Clara to tell him, look, you just fixed a good Dalek. So it is possible.
Yeah. I mean, the whole story is about a Dalek who supposedly has gone good because it saw a star being born and supposedly just seen destruction.
Yeah, even though Daleks have seen stars be destroyed all the time, it's like this one Dalek, it's like, even though we destroy, it still comes back, so that's life. Which is what inspired the Dalek. It's like, the Daleks can't be inspired to do anything.
Yeah, there's a whole thing. Yeah, there's a whole speech where he says, this is engineered, this is evil engineered, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
except for the hybrid ones of the Emperor, but that's a different story.
Yeah, but again, the Daleks keep changing.
Yeah. That's probably the decent one, but again, I don't like the end of the episode where it just like shows you, oh yeah, the Daleks are in this episode. Oh great, ruin the fucking surprise.
Well, I remember it. Well, I remember the end of I remember the teaser for Bad Wolf. They actually showed at the end of the teaser the Daleks were going to be in it. So it's like,
yeah. Congratulations, you ruined everything. Now the roses you captured, spiteful cow, and the Doctor has to do something about it. And Captain Jack.
Yeah.
I don't know, this fucking itching.
Yeah, but that's a different story about running a cliffhanger for advertisement.
Then advertising go on top of it. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things else. We have the other soldier lady. There's another one who was in the ship who gets.
Blue.
Is that her name?
I can't remember her fucking
name. I can't remember.
Help us, we forgot the other character's name. Something blue.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah, not going with two characters as well. It's looking at inside. It's like even though it's mostly metallic, the Dalek can still feel pain. That's just kind of interesting.
Yeah,
That's what the antibodies.
Yeah, it's funny. Because the soldiers don't realise this is actually a living being. I mean, they did say we found it floating in space, and we didn't realise it was still alive.
Because to everyone else, it's just a tank. It's just a metal thing that kills.
Yeah,
which is what you first experience. But when you know a Dalek, it's like, yeah, it's engineered, so it's got a little squid inside that controls everything.
Yeah.
But it's hooked up, so basically anything that gets shot to it, it feels.
Yeah.
It does get shot to it.
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing about this episode was because we've seen, I mean, throughout the entire series, we've seen the inside of a Dalek at least, the sort of hook based, and we know where the sort of the squid creature is. And I gotta admit, I'm surprised actually when they were going in, sort of where were they going to find it. If I was curious, is this squid creature still in the show? And then we did eventually towards the end of it. But I was surprised of, first of all, them trying to sort of come up with interesting ways of what a Dalek would look like inside, like different levels, and its memory banks it's supposed to be absorbed as living matter as some sort of
memory banks all the way around the rim of the head area rather than down there.
Yeah.
And you have a core with radiation. It's really pretty ingenious because, like, you get like other stuff that's like, okay, here's what it looks like inside this area, which to the outside is like that's just basic. There's not much going on there, but it's like much more deep than you think.
Yeah.
The only comparison thing right now is the anthill in A Bug's Life and it's Moses Jones, but those two are too extravagant to actually bring up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because there's been people have always theorized or done images of what a Dalek looks like inside. Like
there's a giant poster saying this is what Dalek it looks like, and here's where the K-led is.
Yeah, it is where all
it is K-led. It's just Dalek backwards.
Yeah, that's how it works. Basically, this is how all the machines. This is how it all works and stuff. So again, I bet some purists were out there saying, "Well, that's completely different." It's like, yeah, but if it was like that, we wouldn't have much of a story to go through, would we?
Well, that's changed all the time.
Yeah,
there was two factions of Daleks. Then you had the hybrids, and you have the paradigm, which we'll get onto later because I know you want to complain about that. I just fucking know it. And now then you have the insane Daleks. Then you have this Dalek, which is damaging the inside. It's just different factions of Daleks through time and space.
Yeah.
But you still think, would you just fucking die already? But again, like Asylum, it was focused on the people rather than the Daleks. The Daleks were a threat, but they weren't the focus.
No, in this case, it was balanced out more so that there was still the threat, but you had the human side of the story as well.
Yeah, especially with that. I'm going to bring up Missy again because she appeared for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, we got another appearance of the lady in Paradise. Yeah.
Yeah, the Promised Land.
Promised Land. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Again next week, and it's like this one character said, "I will die. I'm not going to die. Nobody's going to get me because I need to do something in order to help you all."
So there is a question: do people who sacrifice themselves for the greater good go to this sort of promised land? I mean, that was a question I'm starting to think if they're going to do this more often.
It's all a question on the robot, considering he was a robot. Then again, he was like. More people in him, so he's less robot, more human.
In the end,
he's sure about that one.
Yeah, exactly. Self-sacrifice. I'm just curious if that's, like you said, is that's how it's going to work? If they sacrifice themselves for a greater good.
Well, technically, in most religions, when you sacrifice yourself or commit suicide, you're a martyr. You go straight to hell. So, that's a completely different thing. I'm not going to touch that. You want to die with yourself, go down with yourself. Just.
Yeah. We're not trying to discuss the faculties of religion. It's just how does this promised land work into Doctor Who? That's how this thing.
Yeah, who the fuck is Missy? So if she's the Rani, fucking great. Again, that'll be great.
Yeah, be interesting. It's still a bit out there, but
if she turns out saying, "Oh yeah, I'm God," God's a woman, confirmed. Half-Life 3.
Well, we had the
only God's a woman. That's what I believe.
Yeah,
only a woman will actually enjoy the pregnancy We made their breasts look as good as ever been, but you're too sensitive to do anything with.
Yeah.
And also, it will be a woman's joke, have your testicles hanging outside, available for all kickings whatsoever.
Yeah, so that's the reason why men have testicles, and it was not. It wasn't
Yeah,
a design.
it was a woman's joke.
It was there on purpose as a joke.
Yes.
How did we get onto Dalek to testicles now?
No idea, but that was a good joke. It was a funny sexual joke at the time.
Yeah, but anyway, anyway, but we do think this better. I think this is definitely better than Deep Breath. I'll say that.
Oh. Yeah, in some places it seems kind of rushed. Like they just all of a sudden just, oh, we can fix it with a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah, there is a bit.
Screwdriver threw a lot more stuff in it. It can now weld. How?
Well, we did get a scene of it on.
I think it's strong. The actual applications of the sonic frequency is a lot focused, but I'm not too sure.
I don't know. It's meant to have 2 settings or something, or I'm not sure how it works anymore.
It doesn't do wood.
Yeah, it doesn't. Does it do wood now? I can't remember if it does or not anymore.
It might do wood now.
Right, I'm just sure. Yeah, because I do remember there was a thing with Stephen Moffat talking about the things that the screwdriver can and can't do. Like it can't do wood, it can't do deadlock things or triple deadlock stuff. So
I think it's a deadbolt or deadlock. Not too sure. That wasn't brought up in Flesh and Stone.
Yeah, like it's basically just an excuse to say, okay, it can't save the day. Basically, that's the excuse of the screwdriver. But funny enough, I'm just thinking to yourself,
even though it saves the day in several episodes, except Vampires of Venice, where it's just a. There you go. That's it today. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Now, funny enough,
that episode. That was crap.
I was going to say, did you know in actually the little thing like royal radiation? Did you not think the Krat looked awfully a lot like the Crack in Time?
Yeah. I was thinking, is that the Crack? Because it looks like a crack. Is it the Crack? Probably not, because it wasn't actually animating the universe out of it.
No, I'm just saying that. I mean, again, we've got to a point now where if we see a crack in something, we just assume, oh, it must be Gallifrey trying to get out again.
Or the other side of the universe, which had to be a prison.
So, so that's probably not a plot point, but it's just something we notice, just as a sort of,
Yeah, but still, the sonic screwdriver fixing the leak of radiation, which they should be dead.
Yeah, it's, well, it depends how much radiation.
I can't remember what the fucking radiation's called.
I don't know, it depends how much radiation, though, I guess. In the very first story.
I don't know, about 50 rads or so, because I'm just going by what Fallout 3 told me.
Right.
That's a great game. I can't stand I don't like Skyrim, but I like Fallout.
Alright.
Weird.
Whatever.
You can pitch it later, everyone. I can't play Skyrim. I just can't.
No, it's alright. But again, I do think the couple of things in this episode. I mean, another thing I noticed was the chalkboard. They'd also got a chalkboard in there. And you know, in the Deep Breath, he's on the floor scribbling everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he actually has a chalkboard again. So that, and it saw this such in the next episode, which we'll talk about another time. But yeah. I guess
everyone, we're trying desperately not to talk about Robot Sherwood because we just watched it. So apologies if we actually say anything about Robot Sherwood until.
We won't talk anything about plot-wise.
Well, we'll have Mike back. We'll have Mike back. Okay.
Yeah, because
and I'll make sure he actually has his Google Hangouts working because that's why we couldn't do it last week.
Yeah. But again, just it's something I've started to notice a bit, as in next to this lady, the promise and heaven, supposedly, and this, it is kind of just curious whether these are going to be connecting. Just a little thing in the background now. So
yeah, Promised Land seems to be the running theme, although I don't think it was brought up in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Although Dalek seeing enlightenment or seeing life itself.
Yeah.
That's a strange one. That could be linked into it.
Yeah. Although funny enough, in this episode, again, the whole thing with the enlightening a Dalek's soul, basically, the whole thing of the Doctor tries to show that there's more to the universe than just destruction, and then inadvertently, by his own will or by his own memories, ends up showing all the times the Daleks have been destroyed half the time. So it ends up on this crusade of destroy all the Daleks and just replacing its hatred of the universe to the hatred of the Daleks.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's how the Doctor does it. Pretty much, if you're going to do Time Lord DNA into something, you literally have to put yourself into it, not just like hold on to a lightning rod.
Yeah, but that's
with lightning, gamma radiation. Fuck that two-parter.
it's a well, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Like I said, but I do think from just the way it's done, I think visually, I think there's some great visuals in this episode. Just in the space battle beginning.
I would say in this series, the CGI is much improved since last time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, considering again, it's no longer the Mill. It's now Milk who's been doing it since the Day of the Doctors. This was like that was their first big job, and now they're back onto doing a full series. So again, visuals are still holding up pretty good. So the show's quality is still there. Of course, it's more important whether you enjoy the story or not. And I definitely enjoyed it all the way through. I didn't think for one. The only bit I would say, I will admit, when it went back to, Clara and Mr. Ping, I think that was kind of slowing the episode down. Although you start off with this extravagant battle, then the Dalek before the pre-credits, and then you.
Well, I like the idea of Clara going back to a normal life. That she has a double life now.
Yeah, that's
one at home. Because everything else, like, oh, adventure, adventure, adventure. I'm gonna go back home for a bit. Adventure, adventure, adventure. Now it's like adventure, home, do all life, make sure everyone knows I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Then go on adventure. Yeah, I seem to be about 2 years old, even though I go for about 1 hour, but still.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I'm alright.
Which was something they brought up in Power of 3, but then again, that was going to be such a good episode, but it ruined it at the end. Sonicguru fixing the computer, and there we go. The cubes are vanished.
Trust me, Power of 3 is dumb as fuck. Really, it's just a dumb episode.
It was good. It was a good idea. The slow invasion. Everyone's getting used to this cubing around, and then all of a sudden. Oh, there's actually a cyborg little girl. There's a ruler. The swing wants to use something. I can't remember what the fuck I wanted.
Yeah.
And it's like, and Doctor just goes fixed.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. I didn't even need Rory and Amy to help him. It was just like I could have done it myself. I didn't need you to. So the Power of 3.
This is the Power of 3. Our longest daft bitch. I do not like Amy. I did not feel ever remorse for her when she fucking died. Oh wow, she got taken by an angel along with Rory. That is so sad. Yeah.
I don't know.
When's the next episode? A few months? Right.
I know, that's going to be an endless argument, isn't it? That's never going to fucking stop, is it?
No, there was a top one. There was a talkie, a top 100 Doctor Who characters. Guess who's in the top 5?
Them two.
Amy was number 5. It was like Rose, Amy, Donna, 10, 11, and 1.
Yeah.
Those are the top 5 Doctor Who characters. Sarah Jane was 7th.
Really? 7th?
Yeah, 7th.
Really?
Wilfred Mott was 8th. And that I can give, because Wilfred Mott's one of the best characters.
Mm-hmm.
Considering he was in the Doctor Who invasion of 2015.
Yeah.
Or 2052. I don't fucking know.
Well, the feature film of the Daleks' invasion of Earth, yeah.
The second Doctor Who movie.
Yeah, the stuff. Again, it just proves that they may have been in something that they were in Doctor Who once, and then weirdly enough, they've come back to it in a strange way.
Like a lot of characters who appear as side characters and have come back as a main character.
Yeah, that's
a lot of people. A lot of people complain about Peter Capaldi saying he can't be in Doctor Who. He can't be the Doctor. He was that Roman guy in the Fires of Pompeii. Yeah, guess who else? Guess who else appeared in Fires of Pompeii?
Yeah.
Karen Gillan. She was one of the side characters. She was one of the sisters of Similine. One of those sisters got that. Yeah. One of those. Who else? Oh yeah, that other female character who appeared in Planet of the Dead. She was in that as well. I think she was. Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I mean, but again, it's like even Peter Capaldi. He was in Torture of Children of Earth, which, let's be honest, that's
he was the Prime Minister.
Yeah, he was the guy.
Episodes before that. Oh yeah. Agia, Freeman, whatever. I don't know.
You know, Martha. Yeah.
Martha, yeah, she was a character in Doomsday and Armies of Ghosts.
Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. In fact,
that was one way around, but then again.
Yeah. I think it was a cousin. She said in Smith and Jones. She said she had a cousin.
Cousin. Oh yeah. What about before that? The Colin Baker. He was a character in the Ark of Infinity. He became the Doctor.
Yeah. Well, again,
it's not an uncommon thing. But now it's kind of saying, "Oh, we brought this last week," saying, "I can't have sex with the Doctor anymore." Yeah. John Pertwee.
Yeah.
Completely forgot his first name there for a second. John Pertwee. He was 50. He was about 50 when he started. Women still wanted to jump his bones. So lighten up. There's a few things that man can teach you, ladies.
Yeah, I don't know. I think in the end, it's kind of asked the question: are you really a Doctor Who fan? If you're just in it to just have sex with the main actor, then frankly, and you don't care about anything else, well, you're not really a fan. You're just a rabid sex machine. Huh?
It's a family show that not only is entertaining but also teaches.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you stand up for yourself. You make a stand against stuff. And it's also a history lesson because it goes back in time. Oh, future is all sci-fi. And then again, it still learn morals from people. You can't just shoot and ask questions later.
Mm-hmm.
Should we get back on the episode? I think we'll just lock it for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I think that one of the other things. Well, again, this is the first. Actually, this series, it's the first time we're getting episodes co-written by different people. In fact, I was watching Doctor Who episode.
Yeah, it's
Phil Ford,
Stephen.
Phil Ford and Stephen Moffat. Yeah, who I met actually. I met Phil Ford once. In Memorabilia, he worked on. Of course, he worked on Doctor Who. He actually did the Daleks, the adventure game, actually. So technically, this is his first televised Dalek story, though second if you count that adventure game.
Can I just say, if you want to ask anything about any celebrity ever, just ask him if he's met him.
Yeah.
just message him. I'll put his channel in the description below. Just don't message him. Have you met Charles Cecil? Yes, I bumped into him at a Borders bookstore. And that was only the third time.
Well, I met Jerry Anderson a few times by accident. Yeah,
and also he's met Tom Baker. Yes, he has met Tom Baker. He's got a photo in his room.
Yeah, I've got a photo of that. Should I show it just to be envious of people?
I've also bought him a Tom Baker commemorative Doctor Who plate, which I don't think he's taking that place.
Yeah, you have to be in the right place in the right time, or in my case, you have to know where they are at what time.
And no, he just happens to walk into people. It's like a magnet.
Yeah, well,
it's like, shall I go into this? I want to go into this store. I want to go into this store. Oh, hello, Craig Charles.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, whatever.
That's what
actually, when we're done with it, I'm going to tell you something else I did yesterday, but that's that's just between us two. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make this is, I met Phil Ford before. Again, I actually asked him, for instance, because the last time he did an episode co-written by someone, he did Waters of Mars with Russell T Davies, and I did ask him actually, which, in your opinion, I mean, how much is it yours and how much is Russell's? Like, what was that for?
Waters of Mars is not that good. It's still one of their episodes of the specials, but it's like, could have been so much better. It's not bad.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever. I just asked him from his point of view, like, how much of it was yours and how much is it Russell? Like, could you say that was mine, that was Russell's? And he kind of just said, well, we just worked in tandem, really. He doesn't consider, like, that scene's mine, that scene's Russell's. It's just did it together. If I actually on Doctor Who,
wrote the episode, he wrote Cliff Notes.
Maybe, but here's the interesting thing actually. This episode in Doctor Who Extra, which is kind of like a replacement for Confidential BBC, so it's now a red button thing or iPlayer. Sorry if I keep doing that with the pen.
I'm not signing screwdriver, so I don't have a reason for it.
I don't want to since I can't be bothered to get it. But no, I found out actually that this was actually Stephen's idea. This idea for having the Doctor go inside the Dalek. In fact, this was one of the ideas they had for the adventure games, actually. I mean, they were talking about, oh, we could do this, or how about we do a game where the Doctor has to go into that? And Steve said, hang on, wait a minute, I'm having that idea. I want to use that idea. So it was Steven's idea, but Phil wrote it down.
Okay, how about going inside a Dalek to fix what's wrong with it? Bagsies!
Yeah, Bagsy's why it's too good to be wasted on a game. I need to use it in the story, television.
Dibs, Bagsies, padlock, magic missile, you can't do shit about it. Thank you.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that was pretty much, that's what I found out about this episode. So, and again, the couple of the next ones are co-written with Steven in mind. So, and like I said, it's the first time in this, well, since R2 came back on, we've had a full series where episodes are not just written by one writer, it's now co-written by either with Steve or with somebody else. So that's...
What's that? It gives Steven a lot more weight off his shoulders now that he can...
Although the argument could be basically saying when it's shit, it's like, oh, it's Steven's fault now. It's like, oh, for God's sakes.
I mean, Steven can hold on the actual major episodes, like the starters, the two-parters, and obviously the endings.
Yeah, that's his main... Yeah.
But also at the same time, there's a lot of weight off him. It's like, he'll write something and put it to a writer and like add some stuff and like, it's doctor, not dictator. You know, there's got that lot of things in everywhere.
Yeah, but I think the problem is, I think, didn't I say this in the last one about that it's kind of like, because he's considered the man in charge of the show, therefore it's like he's the target, and therefore people just like to have they like to have something to sort of blame it on.
I like to have a fate, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's a mass something, you just blame the mass. It's like, oh, BioWare ruined Mass Effect.
Yeah.
No, you have to blame one of the writers, not just the entire fucking faction.
Yeah, because for
the record, I did not give a flying fuck about the end of Mass Effect 3. I have not seen the extended editions because I was perfectly happy with the choice I made. Until someone told me the actual ending scenarios of what is meant to be, I picked the one that fucking Saren would have chosen.
Right.
So thank you, honest person I met at Comic-Con who completely ruined the actual meaningfulness and half how I spent thinking of the choice.
Yeah, because you did pause to actually think what you were going to do. You didn't just go willy-nilly. You actually stopped the game to figure out what you were going to do.
Yeah, and ultimately I should have chosen Destroy, but I just wanted to control them. That way I can actually, stop them from destroying the Earth.
Yeah, but the point is, at the end of the day, is that people often, if there's a name or a face they can pick on, they basically say, okay, it's his fault. And it was the same with like Russell T Davies. A lot of people blamed him when the show was bad. They sort of say, oh, it's all his fault and something. And it depends, because again, there's a lot of people involved in Doctor Who, so it's never always one person's fault because he has to go for different people.
Yeah, you can't just blame the writer or director when the set design goes wrong. You blame the set designer.
Yeah.
Or blame the editor, or blame the director of photography.
Yeah, but there's just so many things to go into.
Not Russell, fucking hell. Well, Russell at the time and now Steven. They're the face of Doctor Who at the moment.
Yeah, they're the boss basically. They are the head honcho of the whole thing.
Moving swiftly along because we have 20 minutes left before this podcast ends.
Yeah. We have a time limit?
Yeah, put it on for an hour.
Okay.
Well, that's my goal of these podcasts.
Okay.
About an hour long each.
All right.
And I'm sorry I keep scratching my nose. It's fucking itching.
Yeah, that's the virtue of being on camera. They can see everything.
Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling fine and healthy. I can have a podcast already. Go live. Hi everybody. Achoo, achoo, achoo.
Achoo! Oh, on the screen.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, back to Into the Dalek about how Doctor and Clara fixed this.
Yeah.
Quite ingenious, like all the memory banks actually have a like electronic pulse. Like,
yeah.
Like technically, even though a lot of people won't believe it, it's like, oh, you put electricity through me, I'm gonna fucking die. Your whole body goes on its electric pulse. That's how your fucking heart goes. Why do you think the defibrillator is electricity? So the electric pulse transfers into the memory banks to actually reactivate and to actually find the star being born.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, some of the clips they used, in fact, I noticed they used a couple of clips. In fact, they used one from Dalek, they used one from Stolen Earth, they used a couple of clips from even Journey's End. some of it.
I think it's every single, mostly every Dalek story of the New Who.
Yeah, most of the popular ones, yeah.
Like Asylum and obviously in Manhattan. Fuck Manhattan.
Yeah, well, whatever. Again, there's always going to be good and bad Dalek stories. That's the point. But we can say Into the Dalek was a good one. That's the one thing we can say about this one.
I think that is a good one. It's much better than Deep Breath. Even though Deep Breath was a lot more built up on what the Doctor is. This one condensed, was straight into it, and some parts it felt rushed, but nothing really wrong with it. It was a dark episode. There's nothing the Daleks like coming onto the ship and killing everyone. Again, I would say a little bit of death. Actually, see people dying.
Yeah, we haven't had a Dalek massacre for a bit. Yeah.
How long? Especially the antibodies, like, disintegrate, just turn into ash.
Yeah. And again, like I said earlier, this is the first episode we see the Doctor's sort of coldness a bit, because again, he supposedly says it's like, you could have said that, but there was nothing I could do. And again,
he hands him something and says, "Okay, what now? I'm sorry." Zap. Then Zap. You couldn't say to him. He was dead already.
Yeah.
So pretty much, he voluntarily didn't do anything to sacrifice someone just so he could see where the antibodies would drop off.
Yeah. And there's a bit also that lady who sacrificed herself for the Doctor. There's like a bit where he walks off and he literally looks back. He actually goes like, "I can't believe this." So again, we know the Doctor, he hates having people die on there, but there's nothing he can do.
And the first question in an episode is he a good man?
Yeah.
And the question is, you don't know. It's like, on half the times, he does try to do good. He just tries to make sure that he saves as many people as he can, if not everyone, while also stopping the threat.
Yeah.
But here you clearly see he can't do that. Yeah. Even if he saves one person, even if it is companion, that's a small victory for him, even though he does feel the guilt. Which,
at the end of this episode,
I think now it's actually more built up rather than at the end of the 4th season, all the people who die trying to save you. Especially like the Doctor does. Everyone gets close to him to die, even though most of those people didn't exactly there and didn't meet. Like shows all those characters who died in Little Monsters. Never fucking knew the Doctor.
It's basically all the people who sort of been have had not technically not direct contact with them, but they're sort of all the people who's either influenced or has been around with. Particularly, that's a big deal. Just basically because of him, these set off these chains of events, which either led to the death or self-sacrifice.
Even though Jenny is still alive.
Yeah, but you get the idea, that general aspect in some episodes. I think that was the point in the whole thing of your soul reveal type thing. But even in this story, again, like at the end, he says like, if this is your victory, how can you call this a victory? He wanted a good Dalek, and all he did was basically just change its view of evil just now onto the Daleks themselves.
Because the Doctor had the hatred. Because his DNA, his mind went into the Dalek. Instead of showing you all of those things, the Dalek went deeper and saw the hatred of Daleks and just adapted that into his psyche.
Yeah.
Which was kind of sad but interesting, because I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, I do remember there actually was a comic. I remember there was a comic called The Only Good Dalek, and this came out sort of just after Series 5, which I didn't read it properly, but the premise was about the Doctor meeting a good Dalek. So I don't know if this is exactly the same. It's probably told very differently. But again, this story, at least from this point of view, it just sort of tells you at least the idea of a good Dalek, or in this case, how it changes its viewpoint from one thing to another. But overall, I definitely say this is the episode I felt like, after Deep Breath, it's like, it's a bit muddled, a bit long in places, but it's just a starter. It's just a starter episode. Once we get into like episode 2 and 3 and all that stuff, then it's like, okay, now the engine's on. Now we're finally getting back into the rhythm of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because, again, this wasn't the premiere episode. This was the second episode. This was, we have the premiere episode, Victoria, London, half-faced man, a dinosaur, and into the Daleks. Like, Dalek story. And you think, what's special about that? But I would argue this is a lot more fun to watch than Deep Breath.
Right, very much, yes.
Yeah.
I would say it's one of my, so far, Series 8 is my favorite episode, but above Deep Breath.
We're not saying it's a bad episode. We're just saying, did we enjoy it? It's a question of...
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly. So in the end, I think that's what we can say about particularly with Into the Dalek is that it's a good episode. It's a strong one, and we do think like, yeah, I can definitely see where the show is going to go from it.
Yeah, and trying to think of the moments in it because it's like I said, I got Robert. I say Robert then. I don't know why I said Robert. Robert Sherwood is. That's still fresh in my mind. A lot of stuff of Into the Dalek is getting muddled.
Yeah. I mean, I did rewatch the episode just before Robert Sherwood came on, just to refresh my memory.
It was so fresh in my mind. I only watched Robert Sherwood today because I missed it yesterday.
Oh, right, okay.
And thank you, iPlayer.
Well, iPlayer never works for me. I mean, it may work for you.
The ending, like, yeah, this is victory is yours. You would make a good Dalek.
Yeah.
That isn't exactly what the Doctor wants to hear, is it?
No, exactly. Especially the last time you did that. Yeah.
Was from Dalek.
Yeah. So.
The Doctor is not a Dalek, but there are some instances where he would be a good Dalek. He would be the ultimate Dalek if he was. Yeah. But he doesn't want that. He doesn't want to be a Dalek. He doesn't want to destroy just because it's the only way he wants.
Hear him. It's like
I said, he wants to save as many lives as he can, even if it's only one. But that's considered that's what he considers a small victory. But for Dalek, that's a defeat. It's like one person survived. That's a failure.
Yeah.
So even Dalek looks at the massacre. It's like, oh, you killed like 99% of the population. That's good. Even though he didn't want to, this is all he had. That's what he had to do.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's a parallel to what he did in Day of the Doctor.
Yeah, exactly. You know, was willing to sacrifice both his race and the Daleks for essentially for the universe. Well, in that case,
for the sake of peace, for the sake of the universe.
Yeah.
He didn't do it out of choice.
No. No, even the Night of the Doctor, again, that whole little bit with Paul McGann, he's just trying to save one person while this terrible war's going on.
He almost did, but like she said, who can tell who is Time Lord and who is Dalek anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
Both each other.
Yeah, just as saying, go back to your wall. There's still a universe left to burn. So, but again, there's always that moral dilemma of exactly the Doctor's. When you look back at him, you're thinking, even A Good Man Goes to War, like Riverstone says, what does that name Doctor mean? Healer, or into some other universe, it could mean a terror or a threat or something.
Or a warrior.
A warrior, or the oncoming storm in the Dalek Zone race. Yeah. I'm just going to say this. I mean, you can probably edit this out, but should we stop it here and then you can do the round thing as a separate? It's like.
I'd rather hear you do the round of Daleks, on the Paradigm Daleks. We've got 10 minutes to spare, so I'd say rant on the Paradigm Daleks. Just the rating on the episode first. I will give this definitely a 4.5 stars. Those Russian places, and obviously it's a Dalek, a whole fleet of Daleks. It's like, yeah, another fleet of Daleks. Well, what do you fucking do?
Yeah.
But aside from those two things, it's the dark episode, and I really enjoyed it. I just could not look away. It's having a drink, obviously.
Yeah. Exactly.
Where's it go? Where's it go? Where's it go? Where's it go? Where's it go?
Yeah, it's just basically, hurry up, hurry up. Why? Do you want the show to over? No, I just want it to be wrapped up so I can get a drink.
The only reason I look like that because my TV is on the wall now. The downstairs TV is now on the wall. So not like a child or like a meerkat. When you're a child looking at the TV like a meerkat.
Yeah.
Because you do. You're like that. You're that far from the fucking screen.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So yeah, 4.5 stars for Into the Dalek.
Yeah, I think for me it's kind of, I wouldn't rate it, but I'd say I enjoyed this one. Definitely give it a watch. If you're a bit muddled with Deep Breath, definitely
rate it.
Yeah, well, I could probably give it a 4.5 as well if I had to.
Yeah, twist you around for that, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Well, you have to shout at me.
That is metaphorically twisting you around.
Yes.
So anyway, your rant on the Pound 9 Daleks? Basically,
Well,
those Daleks on my wall.
it's kind of hard to call it a rant, but I've got to at least say it, with the time I've got left. Okay,
Yeah.
so, alright, I know going into the story, I knew going into, obviously, we were going to get the Gold Star Daleks, which is, again, when you think about it, Doctor Who's been on for now, in fact, next year will be 10 years since the show came back on. And then when you think about that, it's like we've had the same Dalek prop for about 10 fucking years. And I will admit, as I was watching the episode, I did think to myself, I did watch them like when they were coming on the scene and blowing up and stuff. It's like, oh, same old stuff. And and like I said, I was torn with myself. It's like, should I just go full-blooded rant about this, or should I try and be sensible about this? But I'll just give you my opinion. What I think is kind of weird is that we've gone through this season, we're up to Series 8 of Doctor Who, and we've still got these ones. When we have these new Daleks, we've gone to the effort of designing and building, and yet we've done nothing with them. It's ironic because, again, last time we were here, remember we were talking about the Cybermen, which Mike was saying he doesn't like the new Star Cybermen. But that said, there's not been a rant. There's not been an argument from the general public saying get rid of these ones. We want the 2006 look back. In fact, I was quite happy when they finally redesigned them because I was so bored to death of them constantly on either on the show or in adverts or boxes and toys, and it's just everywhere you go. And frankly, I was just so thankful that they changed the look of the Cybermen. And again, with the Daleks, for a while, you had the new...
I will say Mike's argument is actually less about a human being a robot rather than just, there happen to just be robots with human emotions removed.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But again, I'm just going on the general, just seeing them over and over again. And even with the Daleks, initially they were on like most of the toys and all the adverts for like Series 5 where Matt Smith was on. And then as soon as at least a year and a half goes by, and then when are they? It's like they either appear in a mini-second in River Song, or in the Parliament, but there's like one Supreme Dalek, maybe 10 drones, and then 500 million gold Daleks. And in this one, not a soul, not one fucking visual mention, not one thing. And I just think it's just kind of sad in a way that they were that bold to really do a new Star Dalek. In fact, there's an article on Doctor Who, I think it's called DoctorWho.tv, or I might give the link actually, you can put the link in the description. There's a nice article about if you're going to bring back the Daleks, at least do something new with them. And obviously that in terms of stories, but also give them a visual interesting thing. Because again, we've been used to this look so many times, and frankly, I just feel like it's a wasted opportunity. I mean, give you this idea. Throughout the 50th anniversary, the only time we've seen these new Daleks was in the Five Doctors-ish reboot. They were pretty much allocated to just being in a fucking comedy skit.
Yeah, with Stephen saying, "No, 3 Daleks, Pat. We can just get rid of them."
Yeah, exactly.
And that's pretty much says not just like, he's being an asshole towards the 3 Doctors who really want to be in this episode.
No.
But more or less saying, yeah, let's get rid of those Paradigm Daleks because what use are they? Because people didn't like them. Because you issued in one fucking episode.
Yeah, they were just whining and crying and saying, you took the menace away from them. It's like, and I just said to people, it's like, when were you
The menace isn't the look. It really isn't. And even so, people said it looks like a fucking pepper pot. Yes, because you don't expect it.
Yeah.
It's literally a tank. Doesn't matter how long as the general look is still there, it still has the head, it has the eye stalk, it has the plunger, it has the beam, it has it has the spheres going down.
It's about anybody else.
Coloured Dalekanium. What it does and the threat it imposes on you rather than the actual look of it.
Yeah.
I mean, here to bring this up, it's like the graphics of a gameplay in a video game. It's like, the graphics have to be perfect, otherwise it won't sell. No, it fucking doesn't, because I've played excellent games that I've enjoyed thoroughly, and they cannot, and compared to other games, they look a bit shit.
Yeah.
No More Heroes, for example. No More Heroes. Great fucking game. I recommend you get on for Wii. It's a hidden gem on the Wii.
Yeah.
The graphics on it are not that great. They're blocky. There's kind of clipping issues here and there. The whole world just seems like cardboard. But the gameplay is that fucking good, and the story is satirical. You just can't help but look at the graphics and think,
Yeah.
I was also looking back at retro games like Ocarina of Time. Great game, but the graphics have not aged that well.
No.
But it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother anyone who plays it because they're looking past it.
Yeah. I mean, the point is again, it's just basically. I was going to bring an example. In Metal Gear Solid 5, isn't there like this achievement where you can actually you can use the original Metal Gear 1 PS1 Metal Gear.
Yeah, the Deja Vu mission in PS3 edition. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. Again, to me, whenever I see the Gold Star Dalek, it feels like they feel a bit out of place. Like there should be, and I'm not trying to say get rid of them completely. I'm not saying put them in the garage and we never see them.
They can be additional drones.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, wasn't in fact? Here's a good example. I went to the Doctor Who experience. It was a live show they had in London, in Cardiff, and you go in like a toy starting like the future London Museum, and you go in the TARDIS, and you go in the Dalek spaceship. And in that, drop a pen. In that, you had this whole bit where the Supreme Dalek comes out, the white one, and he talks about, we are going to just take over the universe. And then you have these video screens of the old Daleks coming in and say, we are the true Daleks. And it's like, there's your idea, a fraction war. They did this in the old show. I mean, they did Remembrance of the Daleks, the Imperial Daleks versus, the Renegade Daleks. You could easily have done that. In fact, you could have done it as a prequel to the Asylum of the Daleks. Like, there was a war with the two factions, and then this whole thing on the planet. Then they had to come together because this problem was getting worse. So they had to come together and form an alliance. So again, my biggest complaint is that you're just not giving them enough. Like, please, anybody at Doctor Who, if you're watching this, God knows why you're watching this, because you've got probably better things to do.
I also would say, again, it's not really the look, it's the threat.
Yeah.
Like, in a horror game, I should have brought this up earlier, in a horror game, mannequins, okay? A normal store mannequin. Every time you blink, it fucking moves. It's the Weeping Angels. Weeping Angels look threatening. They got fangs. They're trying to get you, and you know they're threat. They look menacing.
Actually,
a normal mannequin, a faceless mannequin, pretty much Slender Man.
Yeah,
It's
what
speechless.
was that game you showed me the other day? Remember that game where you were in the fair park and those dummies moved? 5 days at whatever PE's.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
That's it. That game. Again, I mean, essentially, when you get down to it, they're a bunch of cuddly, friendly mascot suits. But you know what? They scare the fuck out of people.
Yeah, that's aside from the cheap jump scares, it's the fact that these things are a threat.
Yeah.
The Daleks are a threat no matter how they look. You can paint them pink for all you care, and they still kill you.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought the Einstein Daleks was the stupidest thing they've ever done with them. I thought, oh god, this looks ridiculous. I thought that was the silliest thing they've ever done with the Daleks.
Einstein Daleks? You mean the army
green
ones?
Yeah, the World War II ones. I thought, painting them green, British, the flag, and then Alfred and Copper Chi. I mean, everybody fucking loves that, and they're thinking, this is the dumbest thing they've done with the Daleks.
Yeah, but that triggers to the story because you didn't know that.
Yeah, but again, it's just from that, I thought that was even sillier than having these new style Daleks, and that's my only complaint, is like, you don't have to get rid of the gold ones. I'm not saying get rid of them and they're bad or anything. I'm not saying that. All I'm just wishing is please use these props. I mean, if it's just the case, my only thing, I think the only reason they haven't used them is because they've only got 5 of them technically. They've only built 5 of them. So if it's just a case of you haven't got enough of them, just build more, please. Do something with them. Just have them in the story.
Use miniatures, use CGI. You have the resources.
Yeah, you have the resources.
You have an idea, but you have not used it. It's best thrown away.
You've got a concept of a fraction of different classes. Why don't you use them? Doctor Who can do it. They're good at this stuff. You can do this. Please, anybody, just do it. I just find it annoying where the public is just done a bit of a bitch rant, and then it's like, oh, right, well they've said, oh, we can't use them again. Why? Because the public said so. Yeah, but it's like, no, fuck it. The public has said...
How much of the public was it? About 3 people? That's not the fucking public, it's a crowd.
Yeah. I mean, again, I've talked to a lot of people. I often ask them, what do you like about them? And a lot of them, they just say, it looks silly. In fact, one guy said, oh, they're just there to make toys of them. It's like, everything in fucking Doctor Who looks like it's made for a toy.
The Screwdriver is a fucking toy. It's a cosplay prop, but it's still a toy.
Yeah, I'd rather have these...
What else? Oh, yeah, the Weeping Angels are a fucking toy. Everything that gets brought up, what was it? There was a Sonicguru battle game, and a Toclafane was a hub.
All right, those laser blast things, yeah.
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 I had one when I was 11, and I kept on winning because my infrared laser kept reflecting off the window. I'm not getting hit around the corner. I was like hitting the window, and he kept hitting his chest.
Yeah, but like I said, it's just I really wish they would do something with them. There's an idea, there's something. Just use them for a story or a good concept. I mean, what was the whole? I mean, Steve and Matt, Mark Gatiss actually kept talking about, oh, the Yellow Dalek, the Eternal one. Do something with it. It sounds interesting. Do something. Anything. Just please. It's just getting rather frustrating. Put it this way, actually. There's a good example I can give. In terms of other shows.
Quickly, we're going over time here.
Alright, I'm trying to rough it up. I mean, I'd rather have, put it this way, I'd rather have these Daleks, if you can see the poster, I'd rather have these than those bloody stupid ones with their eye going out their head. I'm sorry, that just looks fucking naff. I'm sorry, the Dalek sort of clone.
Well, I would accept that above Pigmen, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I know, but really, that is just asking for someone just to stick a toilet plunge on his head and say, I'm a drone Dalek, you look like a prat. So I'm sorry, I'm not accepting that, because that just looks absolutely naff as hell.
The Dalek dressing is more appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. People have cosplay as a Dalek dress.
I'd rather have a Dalek, I'd rather have these boys, I'd rather have my multicolored Daleks than a guy with a stupid thing sticking out of his head. I'm sorry.
And out of hand as well.
Yeah. I mean,
I think you're blowing off no steam already.
Yeah, well, I hope, let's see what hatred I'll get, if anybody cares.
Well, both get hatred. I want to see the Paradigm Daleks as well. So you have all these bronze Daleks. Oh, you can't just paint one of them silver, one of them gold.
Yeah.
You know?
Why did they do a black one? Yeah, they could do a black
one. Yeah. We want the Dalek Supreme, the red one, the elevated red one.
Yeah. You know, why don't we a Dalek General? The Dalek could be a black one or something. A Dalek General, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Just, there you go.
The colour Scarrow, but they're dead now, doesn't matter.
Well, whatever, you know. Yeah. But like I said, there's options.
Yeah.
Please do it. Somebody, Doctor Who.
The good episodes are starting up with the bronze Daleks.
Yeah.
And having Sonicguru, and he's been Nikki 17 or Worms T17 as goes by.
Yeah. Whatever the internet.
We'll be here next week on Friday, hopefully.
Hopefully.
With Robot or Sherwood.
There's a lot to say about that. See you next week.